Hey there, welcome to day 29 of our free 30-day Get Up and Go challenge. Today we're going to talk about frameworks, and of course since 2020, my favorite framework has been the SOAP framework. We've talked about it in detail, but I don't know if I did a great job covering what frameworks are and why they're important. I think frameworks are the simplification of complicated thoughts and ideas. You can take a whole book and you can break it down to a couple of different frameworks. It's like math formulas. Math formulas help us to understand things that might be complex. Just like in physics and chemistry, I guess science, there's a lot of formulas in science that are used to help us to understand how things relate to one another. A lot of tools that we've used throughout the challenge are actually frameworks. They're ways of framing a problem or a challenge or a situation or in order to help us find solutions. It's the whole purpose of the SOAP framework. It's to take our challenge that we're facing and apply a framework to it to make it easy for us to process and come up with the best solutions for us, and then take action toward those best solutions to make sure that we're always making progress toward what it is that we really want. So what are some of these frameworks? Any industry, any business, most organizations have a framework that they operate off of. Think of AA, the 12-step programs, and all the different, I think there's Narcotics Anonymous and all the other anonymous things. They have a 12-step program that they use. Think of the SWOT analysis we talked about, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. That's one that is used in business, but we can use it for our personal lives as well. The journalistic framework we used early on to describe our stories, who, what, where, when, why, and how. I learned that one in high school and still use it to today. The urine analysis and the other decision-making tools that we use are ways to remember, and it's a framework, a way to make decisions more quickly and easily. Problem-solving decision, PSDM, problem-solving decision-making, the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and contribution. That's a framework for looking at our life and simplifying it so that we can find ways to manage the different areas and aspects of our life so we don't forget anything important, but that's a framework. The DISC analysis, the Myers-Briggs, all those personality tests, those are just frameworks and frames of reference to try to explain the complication that is the human personality. So strategic frameworks, what are the components of a framework or a strategic framework, and why do we want to know what they are? Primarily so we can figure out our own. We want to find what works for us. We are a living example of all of the different experiences that we have encountered so far. We want to take those things that we've known, the things that work for us, and continue to do them, and the things that don't work for us, we want to maybe let some of them go. And we can create our own framework to do this. There's lots of different business frameworks. You can do a Google search and find them. Some are super complicated, some are super simple. Some involve cows and stars and things like that. And decide what type of a framework you want to look. Almost any topic, you can do a Google or whatever search engine you prefer search and find examples of frameworks and graphics and diagrams that simplify that topic, that industry, that problem. So what are the 6 components? Let's quickly talk about the 6 components of a strategic framework. And that means you can take these and you can apply them to any area or aspect of your life or to your whole life. First step is to define your mission, or not your mission, define your vision. What is your big vision for your life? What is it that you really want? Are you noticing a theme? I've noticed a theme in my life that everything starts with, what is it that I really want to create? What is it that I'm really after? Second, then we create our vision. We base our vision and I think I said that wrong again. First our vision, then our mission, right? Our purpose. Our purpose drives our vision, and they're of course interrelated. All these things are interrelated, and all of the lower parts of the framework of course support the main vision and mission, the reason that we exist. And we need to include our core values, our passion, our purpose, our reason for being into our vision and our mission. Third, we want to set our objectives. What is it that we're trying to accomplish? What do we really want to achieve in our lives? That's where I talk about and think about my legacy goals, and that's why I use the framework of physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, contribution, communication, and confidence this year to set my objectives and my goals, because I know that they will feed into my vision and my mission and my purpose and my core values and my reason for being and the things that I'm passionate about. I'm going to make sure that they're all interconnected. Fourth, we're going to develop a strategy. We're going to start with, okay, what are some of the things I can do to go after and create this reality for myself? Then step 5 is to outline your approach. Figure out not the entire detailed plan, because guess what? Plans always change. But what is my approach? What is my tact? What is my approach? And then finally, 6th, we're going to support that with, I call them action items or tactics. What do we actually need to do to make this approach a reality in order to support our strategy and our objectives, our overall goals and things we want in our life that create and virtually guarantee that our mission and our vision are achieved for our life. So that's the parts and the components of any good framework. Can you miss some? Sure. Can you call them by different names? Absolutely. And will it matter? No. So our action item today is think about some of the frameworks that you've experienced in your life and how they have positively impacted your ability to create what you want, get the results that you want. Try one of these on for size. I would say think of the ones you've used and how have you had to modify and tweak them, because the way that anything works in our life and the way we'll act on it is when we make it our own. We learn and see and hear things all the time, but it's when we take them and we make them our own, we morph them into something different. It's like the imaginary friend visualization. I don't know anybody else that has an imaginary friend visualization. Taken visualization and tweaked it and made it my own and made it work powerfully for me. It might not work for you, but it works for me. So you have to make yourself your own best science experiment and tweak and try and figure out what works for you. Because bottom line, that's the only thing that matters, is what works for you. Love you to share one of your frameworks or a framework that you're exploring in the comments below. Or if you're brave, share your personal framework. I wish I could just share one, but I think I've shared a lot of them throughout the challenge because I have a lot of frameworks. But right now my personal favorite is, of course, the SOAP framework. Why? Because it's making change and challenges as easy as breathing for me and thousands and thousands of other people, and that fulfills my vision, mission, purpose, and all of the above. Any questions? Hit me up. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow, and we're going to talk about some of the big lessons that we've learned on the challenge, and we'll talk about I don't know if we're going to do a summary. We'll talk about a summary and some lessons learned, and I'll try to make sure that I answer some questions that have come up over and over again throughout the challenge. That's it. Have an awesome day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow. Go check out some frameworks.